Hello everyone. In this session, we will go through Attribute Set Instance Setup in the Onfinity ERP system. Attribute Set Instance features help businesses manage product details, track items accurately, and ensure smooth operations across sales, purchases, and inventory. Our focus for this session is on understanding how the Onfinity ERP helps manage and track products using smart tools like serial numbers, lot numbers, and attributes. We will begin by following this journey. First, we will cover serial number control. We will learn how each product can be given a unique serial number to track it from production to sales and even after-sales service. Next, we will explore how batches of products are managed using lot control. This is especially useful for industries where tracking by batches is critical, such as food, pharmaceuticals, and chemicals. We will then look at the lot screen on the Onfinity ERP, where all lot records are stored and managed. Following that, we will understand attribute. These are product characteristics like color, size, and material that are defined using an attribute screen. Finally, we will examine attribute groups, where we will see how related attributes can be grouped together and assigned to a product. The main goals of our session are to enable you to understand the attribute group, attributes, serial number control, and lot control, along with their associated terms within the context of business processes. This session will also enable you to understand the impact of these configurations on their respective transactions and throughout the Onfinity system. For prerequisites, before we begin working on the Onfinity ERP system, let's ensure a few things are ready. You should have access to the Onfinity ERP platform with a valid user ID and password. Tenant and organization configuration must also be completed and available. Let's understand what an attribute set instance is and why it is important in Onfinity. An attribute set instance in Onfinity ERP is a feature that allows users to record the exact combinations of attribute values for a product during a transaction. It is used when products have multiple attributes, such as serial number, lot number, guarantee date, color, size, or model, and you need to capture those specific details for tracking and reporting. It is based on the attributes assigned to a product, which defines what attributes are required. The attribute set instance control appears on all transactional screens where products are involved, including sales, purchase, and inventory. During a transaction, users select or enter the actual values for each attribute, creating a unique instance for that product. For example, if you are selling a red medium-sized t-shirt with a serial number and an expiry date, you will enter all these values during the sale. That combination then becomes the attribute set instance for that particular item. An attribute set instance can include a serial number for tracking individual items and a lot number for batch tracking. It can also include a guarantee date for expiry or warranty, and attributes such as color, size, and material. Let's now look at how serial number control works in Onfinity ERP and why it is useful. Serial number control is a way to give each product its own special number so that you can track it easily. This number acts as a digital fingerprint for the item, allowing businesses to monitor its movement from manufacturing to sale and even through after-sales service, such as warranty claims or repairs. In Onfinity ERP, serial numbers can be used as an attribute that can be directly linked to the attribute group screen. This allows these identifiers to be used during production transactions. For example, a mobile phone might have an IMEI number that is unique to that device. With serial number control, this IMEI number is recorded in the ERP system. Every transaction involving that phone, whether it is a sale or a purchase, is then linked to that specific serial number. This level of traceability is crucial for industries where product authenticity, warranty validation, and regulatory compliance are important. In addition, serial number control can also be used for various purposes in Onfinity ERP. Product category serial numbers can be linked to a product category to create a unique search key or product code. This means that when a new product is created under a specific product category, such as mobile phones or laptops, the system can automatically generate a unique identifier using the serial number. For asset groups, serial numbers are linked to fixed assets like office equipment, vehicles, or machinery. This helps create a unique identifier for each asset, which is then used for tracking depreciation and audits. For equipment categories, specifically for tools or equipment used in factories, serial numbers are linked to the equipment category to create search keys for each piece of equipment. These keys assist with maintenance scheduling and service tracking. This flexibility means serial numbers are not just for the products you sell, they are also useful for managing your own equipment and assets. You can track machines, tools, and office items with the same level of detail. Once we begin configuring things in Onfinity ERP, we will explore exactly how serial number control works in practice, step by step. For now, let's move to lot control. Lot control is a feature in Onfinity ERP that helps you track and manage batches of products. A lot is a group of items made or received together under the same conditions, such as the same production date and ingredients. With lot control, each batch receives a unique lot number. For example, lot 202-50601. The system records this number during sales transactions, returns, or stock movements. You can trace any product back to its batch, which is useful for quality checks or records. Why is lot control important? Lot control is very useful in industries such as food, medicines, and chemicals, where products are made in batches and need to be traced carefully. It helps companies identify which batch a product belongs to and efficiently handle product recalls. It also helps keep records for quality checks and audits and ensures that older stock is used first, following a first-in, first-out method. Next, we have the lot screen. The lot screen is a central place in Onfinity ERP where all lot records are stored and managed. Every time a new batch or lot of a product is created, whether during manufacturing or receiving, it is recorded in the lot. This means that whenever you create a new lot during any transaction, you will find it updated on the lot screen. This feature keeps a complete list of created lot numbers and stores important details, such as the lot number itself, for example, lot 202-50601, and the product linked to the lot. It acts as the reference point for all lot control transactions. Next, we have the attribute screen. The attribute screen in the Onfinity ERP is a centralized repository where all product characteristics or variants, known as attributes, are defined. These attributes describe the properties of a product, such as color, size, material, model name, or weight. The attribute screens allow businesses to standardize their definitions and reuse them across multiple products, ensuring consistency and simplifying data management. For instance, a company selling mobile cases might define attributes like color, for example, red, blue, black, material, such as silicone, leather, and size, for example, small, medium, large. These attributes are stored in the attribute section and can be applied to any relevant product. This helps in organizing inventory, filtering products in searches, and generating detailed reports. The attribute master also supports different attribute value types. A list type is used for predefined options, for example, color choices. A string type allows for free text, such as a model name, giving you the option to enter a name when defining the attribute set instance. The number type allows you to input a numeric value at the time of the attribute set instance. Lastly, we have the attribute group. An attribute group in Onfinity ERP is a feature that allows businesses to group related attributes and assign them to a specific product. This means that instead of assigning each attribute one by one to a product, you can group them and apply the entire set at once. This saves time, ensures consistency, and makes product setup much easier. For example, a company selling mobile accessories might create an attribute group called Mobile Case Attributes that includes color, material, and size or large as well. When a new mobile case is added to the system, this attribute group can be linked, ensuring that all relevant attributes are captured. This not only saves time, but also reduces errors and improves data quality. Attribute groups also support advanced features like lot and serial number attributes, which are defined directly on the attribute group screen. This allows businesses to track items by batch or individual unit, enhancing traceability and compliance. So, basically, the attribute group is the centralized screen which combines all the available options for the attribute set instance, which is further assigned to a product. Now that we have covered the basic concepts and the different attribute set instances available in Onfinity, we will walk through the steps involved in setting up attribute set instances using the Onfinity ERP system. Once you open the Onfinity URL, you just need to enter your user ID and password. Then, click on the Login button to access the system. Once you log in to the Onfinity ERP system, you'll land on the home page, where various mosaics display key business information and insights. Since we are currently working in a newly configured tenant, you may notice that some mosaics do not show any data yet. This is expected, as relevant transactions and records have not been entered into the system. As you begin performing transactions and populating data, these mosaics will automatically update to reflect accurate and meaningful information. So, there is no need to worry. Everything will appear as expected once the system starts capturing activity. In the top right corner of the Onfinity homepage, you will find your login details, which include your role, tenant, organization, and warehouse. If you wish to work within a specific warehouse, you can select it from this section. Additionally, the Apply Filter option allows you to view records specific to a selected organization. Since we currently have 2 organizations under our tenant, you can remove the filter to view data across both. However, for this session, we are working without applying any filters, so we can access data across both organizations available under our tenant. Click on Change to proceed. Next, we'll explore the serial number control screen. To access it, navigate to the menu Utility. You can access the serial number control screen in 2 ways. You can either search for serial number control directly in the menu search bar, or you can navigate through the structured path. To use the structured path, go to Master Data Management, then click on Product Management. Under this section, you'll find the serial number control option. Click to open it, and you'll be directed to the serial number control screen. To create a new entry, click on the New Record button. This will open the screen in single record view. Let's begin entering the required details. The first field is Organization, which specifies the business unit to which the serial number control applies. This ensures that serial numbering is managed independently across different organizations. Since we have 2 organizations available in our setup, it is recommended to create master records under the star organization. Doing so ensures that the configuration is accessible and applicable across all organizational units. Next, we configure the name field, which serves as a descriptive label for the serial number control. For this session, we'll name it IMEI number, as this reflects the type of serial tracking we intend to use. Following that, we have the Start Number field. This defines the initial value from which the serial sequence will begin. For example, if you set the start number to 1000, the first generated serial number will be 1000. The Increment field specifies the step value by which the serial number will increase. A value of 1 means the sequence will progress as 1000, 1001, 1002, and so on. If you set the increment to 10, The sequence would be 1000, 1010, 1020, etc. For this setup, we'll use an increment of 1. The current next field displays the next number that will be generated in the sequence. This value updates automatically as new serial numbers are issued. Since we're starting from 1000, we'll set the current next to 1000. The control basis determines the logic used for generating serial numbers and defines the context in which the serial number control will be applied. It can be based on the attribute, equipment category, or fixed asset, depending on the specific use case. If the serial number control is intended to be used on a particular screen, the appropriate basis, such as attribute, equipment category, or fixed asset, must be selected accordingly. In this configuration, we are using the attribute basis, which means the serial number control will be applied at the attribute level. Now, the prefix is a static string added before the serial number and is typically used to indicate the type of document or the department responsible for the item. For example, a prefix like IM can help in quickly identifying the nature or origin of the serial number. Similarly, the suffix is a static string added after the serial number and serves the same purpose of classification or identification. Lastly, the description field allows users to add supplementary notes or context about the serial number control. However, this field is optional and has no functional impact on the system's behavior. Therefore, we can choose to skip it in this case. Once all the necessary fields are filled in, we proceed to save the record. This completes the configuration, and the serial number control is now ready to be used in the future. In addition to the standard configuration fields, the organization level check button plays a crucial role in enabling multi-organization serial number management. When this check button is marked as true, it displays the organization column field, where you must enter the appropriate column value. AD_ORG_ID. This entry is essential because it allows access to the serial number tab, which remains disabled if the organization column is not specified. Once enabled, clicking on the Serial Number tab button opens a dedicated interface. This tab allows users to define and manage multiple serial numbers that can be created based on different organizations. This feature is particularly useful in setups involving multiple business units, as it ensures that each organization can maintain its own serial number sequences independently, while still operating under a unified control structure. To create a new serial number record for a specific organization, begin by clicking on the New Record button. This action opens the screen in Single Record View, where you can input the required details. First, select the organization under which this serial number will be used. In this case, we choose Sonic Solutions, indicating that the serial number configuration is exclusive to this organization. Next, set the prefix to IM at the rate 2 to help identify the serial number type. We will skip the suffix for now and set the current next value to 1500, which defines the next serial number to be generated. You may also enter a description if needed, though it is optional. After entering these details, click Save to save the record. This configuration ensures the serial number is used only within Sonic Solutions, allowing for organization-specific control. To return to the Header tab, click on the Home option. It's important to note that organization control is not intended for use with attribute set instances. Instead, it is designed to generate search keys for Product Master, Asset, and Equipment Master records. These keys are created based on the linkage to product category, asset group, or equipment category, respectively. When a serial number is linked to a product category and a product is created under that category, the system automatically generates a search key using the defined serial number configuration. Similarly, for asset and equipment, the serial number control can be configured to generate search keys based on their respective categories. Now, let's take a look at the Exclude tab in the Serial Number Control screen. Click on the Exclude tab button to open it. This feature allows you to define exceptions. Specifically, these are the tables where you do not want the configured serial number control to be applied. To use this functionality, simply click on Add New Record within the Exclude tab. Then, select the table view for which the serial number should be excluded. This is particularly useful when you want to prevent the serial number from being used in certain transactions or modules. For example, if the transaction type is related to sales and you want to restrict the serial number control from applying there, you can enable the Sales Restriction check button to enforce this condition. For now, we are not adding any record in the Exclude tab, as we do not wish to restrict the use of our serial number control. This means the serial number configuration will remain applicable across all relevant tables and transaction types without any exclusions. This concludes the configuration of the serial number control. To configure lot control in the Onfinity system, navigate to the Product Management module under Master Data Management, and then click on Lot Control to open the Lot Control screen. To create a new record, click on the New Record button, which opens the screen in Single Record View. Begin by selecting the organization under which the lot control will be used. In this case, we choose Star Organization, ensuring the configured lot is available across both organizations. Next, enter the start number, which defines the beginning of the lot sequence. For this setup, we'll use 202-50600 as the starting number. Assign a name to the lot control. Let's call it Mobile Case Lot. Set the current next value to 202-50601, which will be the next number generated when a new lot is created. The increment field determines the step value for the sequence, functioning similarly to the serial number control. We'll use a standard increment value, which is 1. Add a prefix, such as LOT, to help identify the lot numbers. The suffix field can be used for additional classification, but we'll skip it for now. Once all fields are filled, click Save to save the record. Here, we also have an Exclude tab button. Click on the Exclude button to open the Exclude tab. The Exclude tab allows you to define exceptions where this lot control should not be applied. Click on New Record to add an exclusion. This will display in Single Record View. Select the table where the lot control should be excluded. For example, C_contract is for contract screens, which relate to contracts, and C_invoice is for invoice transactions. If the exclusion applies to invoice transactions, we need to pick the table of C_invoice. If we only want to restrict sales transactions, which is AR invoice, for this table, mark the Sales Transaction check button as true accordingly. However, for this configuration, we are not adding any exclusions, so the lot control will be applicable across all relevant screens. Finally, return to the home page of Lot Control. With these minimal entries saved, the lot control setup is now complete and ready for use in transactions. Next, we have Lot. The Lot screen is designed to display and manage lot records that are generated during actual transactions. It does not allow manual entry up front. Instead, it becomes relevant after you have completed the setup of attributes and attribute groups and have created a lot for a product. Once a transaction involving a product with lot control is executed, such as a goods receipt or inventory movement, the system automatically updates the lot master with the relevant lot details. At that point, you can revisit the lot master screen to verify that the lot has been correctly recorded and associated with the product. So for now, we will proceed with configuring the attribute and return to the lot master screen later to confirm the lot creation through transactional data. To begin, navigate to the attribute screen located under the Product Master module in Master Data Management. Once the screen is open, click on the New Record button to initiate the creation of a new attribute. Before entering any details, switch to Single Record View. This simplifies the interface and ensures that default values, such as organization and user details, are automatically populated based on your login credentials. In this view, you will be able to define the attribute name and other relevant properties that describe the characteristic you want to track for products. Now enter the attribute name. For this example, we'll start with the attribute color. In the attribute value type, we have three options available. These are list, which is used for predefined values, for example, color options; number, which is used for numeric values and is typically for serial or lot tracking; string, which allows up to 40 characters of free text, useful for additional information. We will select List for color, then save the header, and move to the Attribute Value tab by clicking on the Attribute Value tab button. This tab is used to define the individual values that belong to the color attribute. Click on New Record to begin adding a value, and then switch to Single Record View for easier input. In the Name field, enter blue as the first color option. The search key will automatically populate based on the system's sequencing logic. You may also enter a description to provide additional context or notes about this value. Once done, click Save to save the record. Repeat this process to add more color options. Click on New Record, enter black in the Name field, and then click Save. Do the same for red. Click New Record, enter red, and save the record. These steps complete the setup of the color attribute with its predefined values. Let's now set up the material as an attribute. Move back to the Header tab of the attribute by clicking on the Home button. Click on the New Record button to begin. In the Name field, enter Material to define the attribute. Select the attribute value type as List, since we will be adding predefined material types. Click on the Save button to save the attribute header. Next, move to the Attribute Value tab by clicking on its button. Click on New Record to add a value. In the Name field, enter silicon as the first material type. The search key will auto-populate, and you can optionally add a description. Click Save to store the record. Repeat the process to add another value. Click New Record, enter leather, and click Save. This completes the setup of the material attribute with its predefined values. Let's move back to the header. You can also add a description at the header level for documentation purposes. The mandatory check button at the header level is used to enforce the selection of this attribute during attribute set instance creation. If marked, the system will require this attribute to be filled in during attribute set instance selection. Now, let's create the size attribute. Again, click on New Record in the attribute screen. Enter size in the Name field and select List as the attribute value type. Click on Save to save the header. Move to the Attribute Value tab and begin adding values. Click on New Record, enter the name as large, and click on Save. Repeat these steps to add medium and small as additional values. Click on New Record, enter the name as medium, and save the record. Again, click on New Record, enter the name as small, and save the record. Move back to the header by clicking the Home button. Now we will proceed to create a new attribute of type string. Click on New Record. In the Name field, enter the name as string attribute and select string as the attribute value type. Since string attributes are used to capture free-form text, up to 40 characters, during attribute set instance creation, no additional value entries are required. Simply click Save to complete the setup. Next, we create an attribute of type number. Click on New Record again, select number as the attribute value type, which is typically used for numeric tracking or identification, and enter numbering as the name. Click Save to finalize the record. With these steps, the setup for all required attribute types, list, string, and number, is now complete. To bind all the previously created elements, serial number, lot control, and attributes Into a unified configuration, we now move to the Attribute Group screen. This screen is located under the Product Management module in Master Data Management. Once opened, you'll notice two system-generated attribute groups already present. To create a new one, click on the New Record button. It will also open it in Single Record View for easier data entry. In the Name field, enter Mobile Case Attributes to define the group. Next, configure the mandatory type, which controls when the system requires attribute values during transactions. If set to Not Mandatory, the system will not ask for attribute values while saving any transaction line. If set to When Shipping, the system will require attribute values only during shipment transactions, such as on the delivery order screen. If set to Always Mandatory, the system will enforce attribute value entry at every transaction line where the product is linked to this attribute group. For now, select the mandatory type as Always Mandatory and click on Save to save the header. At this point, the Instance Attribute check button will remain unchecked because no serial, lot, or guarantee date has been linked yet. This check button becomes active only when one of these elements is associated with the attribute group. For our setup, we'll use the lot control that was created earlier. Select the mobile case lot from the drop-down. You may also configure the lot char start overwrite and lot char end overwrite fields during the attribute group setup. These fields allow you to define custom characters that will appear at the beginning and end of the lot number when it is generated. If these fields are left blank, the system will use the default characters, a left-pointing guillemet for the start and a right-pointing guillemet for the end. These characters help visually distinguish lot numbers and can be customized to align with your organization's formatting standards. For now, we will not define any custom characters and will proceed with the default settings. After selecting the lot, click Save. You'll now see the Instance Attribute check button marked as True, indicating that the attribute group is ready to support attribute set instances. If we want to include guarantee date in the attribute group configuration, we can simply mark the guarantee date check button as True. This enables the system to track warranty or guarantee periods for products associated with this attribute group. Additionally, we can decide whether the attribute set instance should be mandatory or not. For this setup, we'll make it mandatory only for the lot, meaning that if a product is linked to this attribute group and the lot is not selected during set instance creation, the system will give an error requiring the user to select the appropriate lot. Once this configuration is complete, we move to the Attribute Use tab to bind the individual attributes to the group. Click on the New Record button to begin adding attributes. Select the attribute from the drop-down as Color and click Save. Repeat to add other attributes. Click on the New Record button, select the attribute from the drop-down as Material and click Save. Again, click on the New Record button, select the attribute from the drop-down as Numbering and click Save. Now again, click on the New Record button, select the attribute from the drop-down as Size, and click Save. Lastly, click on the New Record button, select the attribute from the drop-down as String Attribute, and click Save. This step ensures that all relevant attributes are grouped together and will be available during product setup and transactions. We bind all the attributes, color, material, numbering, size, and string attribute, to the attribute group so that we can view and test how each of them appears and behaves on the attribute set instance form. This comprehensive setup allows us to see the full range of attribute types in action, including list-based selections, numeric inputs, and free text fields. Once all attributes have been successfully linked to the attribute group, the next step is to associate this attribute group with a product. To do this, navigate to the Product Master screen, located within the Product Management module. Upon opening the screen, you'll land on the Product Master landing page. which displays mosaics containing various product-related information. These mosaics offer a detailed overview and will be covered in depth during the Product Master-specific training. For now, to view and update a product, move to the Product Master screen. We have the product named Flap Leather Case, which has already been created. Click on the hyperlinked product name to open it in single record view. In this view, scroll to the Attribute Group field where you can bind the attribute group. Select the group we created earlier, Mobile Case Attributes, from the drop-down list. Once selected, click Save to bind the attribute group to the product. To verify how the attributes appear and function, we'll open a transaction screen. For this demonstration, we'll use the Inventory Count screen, which is typically used to adjust product quantities within the warehouse. This screen will be covered in depth during the Inventory Count specific training. For now, Inventory Count helps us observe how the attribute set instance form behaves when the product is involved in a transaction, showcasing all the linked attributes. We are just creating a record. Select the organization, warehouse, and document type. Save the header and move to the Lines tab. Add a new record, select the locator, and select the product as Flap Leather Case. Now, for the Attribute Set instance, we just need to click on the option of Attribute Set Instance. It will display the Attribute Set Instance form. This form displays all the fields and options configured earlier through the attribute group, including color, material, size, numbering, and string attribute. Let's click on OK and try to save the attribute without any value. Since we marked the lot number as mandatory, the system prompts us to enter a lot before proceeding. To do this, click on the New Record button within the Lot section of the form. A new lot is then created automatically, following the configuration defined in the lot control screen. This includes the prefix, start number, and increment settings. You will also notice the expiry date field is available, which is populated based on the guarantee date settings. The numbering field is present and ready for input, and the string attribute field allows you to enter any additional information up to 40 characters. This comprehensive form demonstrates how all configured attributes and controls work together during a transaction. Now that a lot has been created through this transaction, it should be reflected in the Lot Master screen. Let's navigate to the Lot Master to verify that the newly created lot has been updated and recorded correctly. Navigate to the Lot Master screen under the Product Management module. Click on the hyperlink to view the record in single record view. Here, you'll see that the lot created during the transaction has been successfully updated. The record will display the associated product and the lot control used. This confirms that the system is correctly capturing and reflecting lot data based on the configurations made earlier. That concludes this session. Thank you for attending.